What's up, tribe? Thank you for being here and welcome to my channel. Today's post is titled Denial. As this is a dialogue between Matias and his higher self, I'd be referring to Matias as me and his higher self as I am. Me. The more I analyze the mental and emotional aspects that constitute me, the more I realize everything that I've been denying in myself. I am. Because we return to the same old thing, survival. Remember that your being comes from a long history of biological evolution and adaptation to a hostile environment. Since the first unicellular organism, there has been an incessant struggle to obtain resources and survive in an ever-changing environment. This generated that during the transformation process of the more complex multicellular organisms, each one of the cells had a fundamental mission that ranged from defending the general system to allowing survival in the greatest amount of time and space possible. Thus, cells seeking to save energy so as not to die seek convenience, comfort, security, with which everything that is uncomfortable, negative, painful will be avoided to the maximum. Me. This is why, if a being cannot escape from a toxic and painful cycle or environment, it will turn it into its natural environment, which makes many people repeat or look for uncomfortable situations to feel good. Right? I am. Exactly. And on one side as well as the other. It is simply a reaction of the body to cling to security. Security often has nothing to do with being well, but with what is known. Change is what costs energy, what breaks the structure and makes us feel death. A negative situation that is repeated over and over again is a stable situation, for the simple fact that the cells know what their mechanical responses are. They can foresee, and that gives security and calm. This generates vicious cycles in living beings, not only in humans, but in all of nature. Saving energy is something that allows the union of atoms and the formation of stable molecules that shape all the reality we see. It is the base on which all existing organisms are based. Stability is precisely the ability to be stable, to be and to remain, as changing disrupts order. Transforming generates crisis, an enormous energy expenditure, for which, if it's very necessary, a lot of energy must be saved. For this reason, when nature needs to transcend in the form of metamorphosis or reproduction, it saves and consumes a lot of energy. Eating and sleeping as well as possible, as do the vegetable and animal kingdoms. Me and the humans? I am. It does the same. In essence, eat and sleep, work to survive, and try not to face situations that require a lot of personal effort to achieve something. The less effort, the greater the stability. Me. Something that society has told us is bad. I am. It's not bad, but it's boring and involutive. Me. Boring, I attest to that. But why involutional? Evolution comes from the Latin word ex, to go out, and volvere, to go around. The concept is then to move around, rolling, unwrapping what was wrapped or rolled, which gives rise to the word develop, that is to say, that which evolves is that which is capable of turning on itself, moving forward, moving through space, turning and changing its positions forward. Thus, what remains static does not evolve, it stops. There are no new perspectives, there is no adaptation, and this impairs the ability to get in tune with a changing environment. Thus, when the environment forces him to transform, he cannot do so, and he will die. This is called involution. Me. And the revolution? I am. Re is return to. In other words, revolving implies moving one step forward again after a period of stability. For this reason, revolution is called the moments of great changes after a period of rigid, systematic, totalitarian, and egalitarian system. All the processes of evolution imply that in each movement, each step, the being takes something new from the environment. We could say that the act of evolving is to open up to express ourselves towards a new reality that leads us to experience a new experience, which will give us new concepts to integrate, which would give us the wisdom to move to a new level and transcend the previous one. Taking or grabbing something in Latin is said prendere, and the action of grabbing something is said learn. The same happens with Saxon languages through the concept lesnana that gives rise to the English learn which means acquire. Learning then is the concept of acquiring new perspectives and knowledge of the world as I move through it. But the fear of what may happen if I spend my energy moving without knowing what will happen makes me look for the comfort zone. And that conformity, which comes from the Latin keep the same shape, leads me directly to deny it. Thus, the opposite of learning would be denying movement, which comes from the Latin keep the same form. Me. So denial in all aspects of our lives leads us to see what we are not being able to assimilate or transcend. Tell me what you deny in your life, and I will tell you what you cannot handle in it. Me. Sure. Sometimes I have noticed that precisely the things that I deny in my life are precisely the things that I do not know how to manage or handle when they appear. I don't have tools to transcend them. It is common for a mind, an emotion, or a body to try to get defensive in the face of something that is flatly denied, because for all three of us, that concept is harmful. It breaks with our mental, emotional, or physical stability. For example, tell me, what do you deny in your life? Me. The resentment is one of them. The competition is another. Anger and sadness. We could say that you are within the expectations of at least 80% of the human population. Everyone wants to be happy, so everyone will deny anger, sadness, hatred, and all those emotions that cause us instability. However, when I deny that these emotions are part of me, when I refuse to accept them as part of my life, when I reject or separate them as if they were something other than love and happiness, or when I judge them, the only thing I'm doing is giving them more strength. Why? We are going to analyze it with a current global situation. The virus. Tell me, when do you become immune to a virus? Me. When I expose myself to him? I am. In other words, the only thing that quarantine achieves is that it does not spread, so that doctors and hospitals do not collapse. But the quarantine does not solve the virus. It is only a measure of gradually using the health service. A person who spends her whole life protecting herself from viruses, washing her hands all the time, boiling all the waters before drinking them, never touching the ground or walking barefoot, never going out if it's cold, covering herself all the time, covering. The body is strengthened by exposure, as the immune system knows what to fight against if it encounters it. This is how many times we see that dirty children who go down the street get less or almost nothing sick compared to children who go out and are always clean. In the same way, on an emotional level, a person who worries all the time tends to get sick easier than one who deals with living. Me, denying an emotion in my life, well, it's like denying a virus. Denying is me, denying an emotion in my life, well, it's like denying a virus. Denying a reality is like denying a bacterium. I am when your first reaction to an affirmation is the denial of it, you must ask yourself the question, what moves this in you so that you deny it? Me. And what about the concept of denying war, for example, or denying control? That is, there are two types of denial. One is deny because we don't want it, and another is deny because we don't recognize it. I am the first type of denial. That is, I don't like it. I don't want it. What it does is give power to that factor. As with the virus, everybody denies wars out of disgust. Yet, has this stopped wars? A great consistent example of this is Germany. This country has been involved in the worst wars in modern and contemporary history. However, everyone there studies and talks about the causes of those wars to understand that it should not happen again. But their method is contrary to that of many countries. It is not a taboo subject. It is an important subject to be discussed and recognized in great detail. If you don't know her, you won't be able to recognize her in her early days. And by the time you find out, it will be too late. Most countries do not analyze or discuss war. They simply study it as a historical fact that is best forgotten. They are known to be bad, but we don't want to analyze them further. The struggles have a root in situations that have nothing to do with a struggle, but with a crisis or depression. World War II arose from an economic conflict in Germany, not from racism or supremacism. Not understanding the causes and processes makes us ignore the why of things. Thus, when we simply deny by denying the fact or object, we are giving more force to the possibilities of its repetition. A country with an economic crisis naturally begins to divide the people into rich and poor, then ethnic groups, and then generates racism, leading to the struggle of races and classes that ends in a bloody revolution or coups and exiles. It is like now with the coronavirus. Quarantine is not the solution. The solution was a good, free public health service, more support in all scientific, medical, and nursing fields, international laws on animal consumption and food science. The same with the personal conflict, denying the entire history of the family, ignoring the causes makes us always have to react to the consequences. Me. And the deny for not recognizing? I am. Unconsciousness tends to assimilate that its point of view is the only possible one. When someone tells you you are jealous, and your immediate response is, no, I'm not, you are avoiding something fundamental that the other, for some reason, has seen in you. The simple fact that it tells you deserves a minimum analysis. Perhaps it is his reflection of the other in you. Or perhaps it is his own truth, a mirror has reflected something you must see. Maybe it is just an easy to wash spot from your face, or maybe it's something you've never noticed from going too fast and not looking closely. Every time they describe you in a way that you do not recognize in yourself, that you deny in your being. Before saying no, ask yourself the question, why? Me, ugh. That would make us analyze ourselves all the time. I am. You feel that it drains you, right? Me, a little. I am. So you feel that you're expanding energy and prefer to remain stable without evolving. Me, well, if you put it like that, no, I want to evolve. I am. Then you must be congruent. Questioning is the key to learning. Stop fighting what I deny is the key to evolution. Don't fight world governments. Put your energy into building a new one. Do not fight against religion. Simply learn to live in freedom from your I am. Don't fight your family. Create a new one. Don't fight your emotions. Just feel them and acknowledge them. All emotion is useful, and to deny it is to lose the ability to know how to use it. Me, I understand. I am. The exercise of asking the question is difficult at first, like learning to ride a bicycle. But when the brain gets used to it and exercises, the whole process is done in a second. If I tell you now, you are self centered, what would you say to me? Me, maybe before I would have said no, but now I take a second to think, why? And I tell you that surely that image can be seen because I always upload photos of me. I talk to myself, I explain what I remember, and everything is related to me being the center of everything I do. So, in a way, yeah, I'm self centered. I am. And what will you do about it? Do you think you should change it? Me? I don't know. Should I change that when I recognize it? I am. The next question will be, is that useful to you? Me? Well, I would say yes because my life project is the I am. And if I don't reflect from myself, it would be hypocritical. And I like to show what I do and am. It amuses me. I think I have taken that energy of egocentricity to use it for something useful. I even use it as a tool that comes naturally to me because I am in the sign of Leo, with Venus in Leo and Mars in Leo. It's my nature. I am. So, what you should do is act from consciousness and stop being unconscious. It is not always necessary to change by polarizing what you deny, but by making it aware. Therein lies the true transformation of being, giving conscious power to something that it denied. And the way is by recognizing if what I had inside me is useful or not. Me. This reminds me that in the Atlantean Saito language, on the Nile of the 12,000 years ago, the word yes and no do not mean affirmation or negation. Yes was said in various ways, but the conceptual one was ah, which means my spirit contemplates it, and no, which also had several ways, but the conceptual one was ush. It meant that way it still doesn't lead me to evolve. In other words, something was never denied, but simply said that for now he could not contemplate that path or possibility. I am. Now that you understand it, write down in your notebook the question, what emotions and feelings do I deny about myself? That is, which ones I cannot recognize and which ones I encounter in the struggle. Analyze, acknowledge, and start asking yourself questions. Every time someone affirms something that you deny, why? And is it useful to me? Me, I observe then what my spirit contemplates in me, and I recognize the paths that I cannot yet see of my evolution. I am ele ushike emeniati, ama is bra. Say yes and no in full consciousness, so the I am will shine in you.